Hello and welcome back to Breastfeeding Beginnings at the Milk Bar. My name is Lori Franklin and I am a registered nurse and lactation consultant. Thanks again for taking the time out to listen and learn about some breastfeeding tips to make your experience much more pleasurable and beneficial to you and the baby. So today we're going to talk about nipples. Now, nipples can come in different sizes, of course, but also the way they're positioned on the breast is one way, but the main thing is what they actually look like. So when mothers tell me, and I say, okay, so what does your nipple look like? And they tell me it looks normal. I don't know what that means because all of them are normal. I just need to know if it pokes out, it's flat, or it pokes in. So these are two breasts. And so we're going to talk about this and I'll show you what I mean by poking out, flat, or in. So these are nipples on here that poke out. They're called everted nipples, okay? And then you have the kind that are flat, where the nipple and the areola sort of run together and they look like basically it's flat. So that's an flat nipple. And then you have a nipple that can poke in, and it looks like that. That is called an inverted nipple because it's in, okay? So inverted nipples are just that the connective tissue around the base of the nipple is sort of tight, and so it's pulled on the inside. Babies can still breastfeed with these. Sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult if the baby can't pull the nipple out or if the areola is dense. So breastfeeding with an inverted nipple can be difficult, but if the areola is more flexible, it makes it easier. So with the areola, you can tell if your areola is more flexible or more dense. And the way you just hold your fingers about an inch away from the nipple and then squeeze. So I'm going to turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just squeezing. If it feels like you have like a lot of resistance and it's sort of tight there, that's more of a dense areola. But if it squeezes very easily and where your fingers are almost touching each other through the skin, that's more of a flexible and pliable areola. And that pliable areola makes it a little bit more easier for the baby to latch on. Also, when the milk comes in, even if your areola was nice and pliable beforehand, it can become a little bit more dense, filled with milk, and we'll work on how to get that a little bit softened. So when mothers see the inverted nipple, and also at the hospital, because I worked in the hospital for many years, and as soon as you see most people see the inverted nipple or the flat nipple, they panic and start wanting to do, start with a nipple shield. Now, if you haven't heard of a nipple shield, it's a piece of plastic that looks like a nipple that goes over your nipple and the baby. It basically helps give them something a little longer to grab onto, and it helps to make the baby be able to feed better. So we'll talk about shields, and I have a few here with me today, okay? So shields this is what a shield looks like, okay? And then we have this one, and here's another one. Okay, I'm not going to say brand names, but they're all different ones out there. So nipple shields come in different sizes, which is why you just don't go out and buy one because someone that you know had problems with the baby latch and they say, oh, I just got a nipple shield. They come in different sizes and they're based off the diameter of your nipple. So it's not the size of the baby's mouth or how big your boob is or how small it is. It's the size of your nipple. So when you get these, some of them, like you can see on here, this is sort of, it's round, but there's like a little cutout right here. So some of them are completely circular, and then you have the ones that have cutouts. This is supposed to be for where the nose is, so it doesn't like block the baby's breathing. But even if it was solid, it still can work and it won't suffocate the baby. It might fold back a little bit, but if you got the baby positioned correctly, they'll still be able to breathe with a shield on. Now with a shield, this one is one way. Like I said, there's a solid one, then there's the cutout, and then it's this one I just wanted to show you in particular that looks a little bit different. Some people like these too. This has a nose and a chin cutout. It allows for more skin-to-skin contact, and it's less of that folding back that could possibly pop off the breast when you're feeding. So the thing is, shields, we're going to use this one today, okay? So shields you're not supposed to just lay it on the nipple. Now, first of all, that shield's a little bit big for that nipple, but that's the only one I have right this second. So that shield is a little bit big. So let's switch to get one that looks like it's going to fill it, because the nipple a little bit less space around it, right? So that one fits. But you don't just put it on, because if you just put it on like that, the baby's going to latch on here and it's going to pinch. Still has to get areola in its mouth. So the way you put a shield on is, first you express out a little bit of milk, because that will help the shield stick to the skin, because they can pop off some. So you push back like we were talking on previous videos, hand expression, go around a little bit, and then you take a little bit of that milk and you rub it onto the areola and onto the breast. It'll help it stick a little bit better. And then when you take these shields, you have to fold them halfway down the shaft, okay? So you fold it. And when you do that, then you put it on. So, you know, this boot doesn't stay still. I got to keep moving it. So you put it on, and then it pops on like that, okay? It would be a little bit even. So it has to pop on and sit on there. And then you still have to hold the breast like a burger for the baby and put it at the nose, make them open wide. So with the shield, it can help to protect. Another reason people use shields too, which I can throw out there, is if they're having nipple pain. If you're having nipple pain though, you want to use this temporarily. Shields are meant for temporary use. They're not meant for full-time use, but some babies still need them, no matter what. Some babies that are born in the NICU, they have to use a shield because they're preterm. They're used to plastic in their mouths, and you might have to transition and trick them with this and then take it off at times to help them learn how to latch. But this is one thing you can use for a short nipple or an inverted nipple. Another thing you can do is use this little contraption. It is called a Latch Assist. I will not say the brand name, okay? So Latch Assist, they look like little bike horns, right? And so what they do is they use suction, and you use this right before you're about to latch. So you squeeze, I'm going to put that in, and then with this one, you'll be able to see it pull. So you put it in, squeeze, and then you release it slowly, not fast, because it's suctioning. It's pulling out and stretching out the connective tissue, okay? Leave it there for a few seconds, squeeze again. Don't take it off. Just leave it on and do it a couple of times. So sometimes this will pull out some milk as well. So you can use this beforehand. Some mothers I've seen, which I thought was a neat idea because I learned stuff. So, you fold this down, you put the shield on, or if they don't fold it down, they don't fold the shield down, they just do this, then they take this little thing, put it on top, and it actually still can pull, and that can help to pull the nipple into the shield. That's a cute little idea. That's a smart thing. I learned things from mothers too, right? So, so that is one of the things you can use. Now, when you do this right before you latch, because it'll pull out some milk, it'll soften your areola a little bit, pull the nipple out, but if you don't do it right away, milk's going to fill back in, nipple can go back in, and you have to start the process again. Or you can use a pump is another thing you can do for a couple of minutes before you actually latch. So putting this on, okay, and then you can see it being pulled a little bit, okay, and then you can stretch and hold just slightly and see if that will help the milk, help that nipple poke out a little bit more. And if you are too full, this is also another way to soften the breast slightly. If you haven't how can I say, managed how to do hand expression really well, you can do this a little bit beforehand too, to help pull out the nipple and soften the breast before latching. So, these are some tips. Hopefully that is helpful to you. As I've said in the past, if you have questions, concerns, and you're having trouble, watch this video, but also contact a lactation consultant so that you can get the help that you need early on. Don't wait for 2 or 3 weeks. It's harder. Learn early on what to do so that you can nip all your problems in the bud and work through them little by little. So if you've liked this video, please click like, subscribe, share, and please put comments too. I would love to hear your comments, and also if you have other suggestions or questions you may have about breastfeeding and want me to hit on those topics, I'd be great to hear that, and I'd feel really good to actually answer your questions and help you out even more. Thank you so much for taking the time again. Have a great day, and God bless.